The following program is brought to you with limited commercial interruption.
Today's broadcast is being simulcast in broken English.
I'm here to show the world. I'm here to show the world.
Welcome to the show that we're doing right now.
What the hell are we doing on this show?
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
Let's go. What is this?
Who else but
The Q.
It's showtime! Gentlemen, let's get down to business.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Yeah, I can dig it, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Q. Now you're listening to the best pop culture, current events, and current affairs show east or west of that Mississippi River, and hailing from the great city of St. Louis, worldwide also at theqnow.com. I am your host, Mark Bland, joined today by none other than my favorite person, Mr. Jason Cole. What's going on, Jason? You are here.
I am.
You are here. You are queer.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Get used to it, people.
Are you allowed to say those types of things anymore? Are we allowed to? Because Donald Trump's president now, so we can just say whatever we want. Just say, own it.
Stuff that confuses us.
Yeah,
Go
just
away.
Own it. We hate everything that is not the things that we like.
We want sex with man.
We do.
That's what
ladies
they
and
do,
gentlemen,
right?
welcome to the Q Now. We need to discuss the normalization of Trump's rhetoric and stupidity now, because local media and otherwise are not doing it. So we're going to discuss this. Trump feels the best person to talk about the Ukraine war and how it is going is Vladimir Putin.
Yep, there you go.
We can't make this up. As well as Elon Musk's son tells the sitting president to shut his mouth.
Get out of here.
During his dad's usurped press conference. So that exciting news also happened. We will discuss all of these fun things. These are all real things, ladies and gentlemen. The beauty of the Q Now is, first off, there's the QNow.com. You can find old episodes, new episodes, and everything in between, Jason. Also, okay.
No?
What was you were going to say?
I'm saying I got something for that Musk thing to prove that what that kid said, Musk said.
Okay. All right. Well, outside of that, regardless of that,
but you have to have a kid to understand.
You have to have a child to understand these things, because we do. And so these
when we're into that part,
we will discuss it. I promise. We will discuss it. Well, welcome back to the Q Now. First things I want to do is I want to give a shout out to the Big Belly Deli Company up in North County, St. Louis, up in Florissant. I went up there with my wife to grab some lunch because we had a gift that was given to us. And so while we were sitting there eating our lunch, I realized this place has amazing sandwiches. They really do. So if you get a chance, you should check out the Big Belly Deli up in Florissant.
Are they like hoagies or like bread?
They've got different types, like Quiznos style, where they heat it up, and it's all kinds of different things. You can get whatever you want on it. It's a deli. It's a true deli, but it was fantastic. That's all I'm going to say. It was just fantastic.
I like good deli lunch.
I know that was not paid for in any way. They didn't give me anything for free. There was no reason for me to have anything to say about any of that outside of the fact that, that's it. That's all there is to it. So
I do like getting stuff for free, though.
Well, of course, everybody loves to get things for free, Jason. Nice. That's just the best. That's always the best, right? The best is always when you can get free stuff. Everybody loves free stuff. Who doesn't love free stuff, Jay? Who? Name a person who doesn't love free stuff.
Bernie
Sanders doesn't like. He doesn't like free stuff?
I don't think so.
You don't think so at all?
I think he'd be cranky. I think he doesn't like giving away Halloween candy.
He doesn't like.
He seem like he'd be the exact opposite of what he is.
Not even Halloween candy.
You know what I mean? Doesn't he seem like he would be like, like, kids, get out of here. But in fact, he's the opposite.
He does seem like the guy that would yell from his lawn. Yes, he does.
But he would gladly give his candy because he loves to share.
I just love the fact that he was sitting at the 2020
just looking mad
and unhappy with his mask on, and like that became a meme that everybody used for everything.
Right? You look like the guy at the wedding that's just mad that they're playing what the kids want right now.
You know how we always have those questions we'd ask when we die? Things like that?
Yeah.
I have one that I wish was around when we were alive.
Uh-huh.
The ability to go back and find all the funny jokes or memes on the internet that I've seen, laughed at, and have since forgotten about many years ago. From like 10 years ago, there was a funny one. Yeah, that's wild.
Get them all back.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if I might be so bold as to start this show off with something fun for you all. You know how I love to talk about local media, right?
Yeah.
And today I'm going to talk about local media, but I'm going to talk about it in a general way. I'm not going to
not one guy.
I'm not going to attack a specific person.
Yeah.
I will use a person as an example, not by name. I will just use an example, a person as an example to get to my point of where I'm going at. So for all of you media people out there that think I'm constantly going to attack you and take you down a level for no reason whatsoever, relax, calm down.
You'd have to live here to know who you're talking to.
Yeah, you'd have to live here to even know who I'm talking about anyway. So I saw a Trump story, okay?
My favorite.
On Channel 4, all right?
Okay.
And the way that the person produced the information to promote it caught me off guard, Jason. And it kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. Since a lot of you don't know, me and Jason are well known within the world of liberal and moderate politics.
Except for liberal type.
For the things that we like to discuss.
Yes.
We have reached the ears of many powerful people within this industry.
Yes.
And they know exactly who Mark Bland and Jason Call are in the QNow out of St. Louis, and KYRO's name by virtue of that.
Yes.
Can't say that for every show on the station and everywhere else in the area, but I can tell you that they definitely know our show and my name and this station. All right? Now, with that being said, why present obvious and fact-checkable lies, Jason, with a positive promotional push? Because you either A, you don't care as a station, right?
Yep.
And in this case, Channel 4.
Yep.
It could have been Channel 5. It could have been Channel 2. It could have been any of them. I just happened to see it on Channel 4 today. Or A, or B, you do not believe there is a problem. It's either you don't care or you don't believe that there's a problem.
Probably a mixture.
Now, it could be a mixture of both, but I saw this lady. She has been around the St. Louis scene for many years. She hosts a show over on Channel 4 or is a broadcaster over on Channel 4. I don't know exactly what show I was looking at the exact moment that this all went down. But it's one of those situations where the story that they were going to present and talk about was something that had to do with Vladimir Putin and Ukraine.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Now, Donald Trump said what he said, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. But
so tough.
It was information that was like, okay, it's obvious that all the moves being made are crazy and not typical of even past Republican presidencies.
No.
Okay.
Or even him.
The prices are not cheaper. So presenting anything with inflation problems as a positive or in positive tones, not real or useful in this situation. It's just not. That's an example. We are going to talk about Putin in the Ukraine. Anything with Putin should not be presented in a fun or jovial way, I would say.
You would think not.
But this is how messaging becomes normalized. And when he does even worse things, he being Donald Trump, that others agree are worse, they get overlooked because we have normalized all the lying and the BS, Jason.
That is true.
This is not like when Joe Biden was president. You, the Republicans at that time, took normal stories and tried to spin them as Joe or Brandon said this gaffe or Joe slipped and said this.
Look, he said morning and he meant afternoon.
Well, Joe was losing ground for the last 2 years. We have talked about it on this show specifically.
Getting older.
I literally have come on this show for 2 straight years and said Joe's been losing his ground.
Right in front of you.
Right in front of us, right here on the show. And we saw in the last few months, including the presidential debate, lots of gaffes that were obvious to him losing a step. Okay.
He's always been a gaff guy.
So a guy who's losing a step, he's a lot older, like Trump is now, but he's a lot older, and he's losing a step. And while he's speaking about important topics, he might flub a word or skip on something. Yeah. You guys turned it into, how can this man possibly run the United States of America? He can't even talk properly. This is crazy. This is out of control.
Talking about batteries.
Mind you at
sharks. Oh,
you
wait, no, that's someone else.
You at 1 o'clock in the morning at the bar the other night. We couldn't get you to speak properly either as we drug you out. Okay, so you're a real genius yourself. Okay, now. Here's the funny thing, though, Jay. Rachel Maddow has 7 people fact-checking things on the fly and can figure it all out in less than 30 seconds on her show anytime, any day of the week. There are other shows that got fact-checkers that are sitting there fact-checking everything going out at all times.
Maybe they let theirs go, too.
Why are you still showing the stuff? Huh? Or normalizing any of it then, local media?
Let me guess.
Especially when it's people that we didn't even elect to the positions in some cases, like Elon Musk or his 5-year-old son. You guys are normalizing crazy stories that are coming out each day. And this is how it was, Jason. The person kind of spun it like this. Well, those egg prices aren't getting any cheaper, and now Vladimir Putin seems to be the focus of blah, blah, blah. We're going to turn our attention to that right next, shortly. And it's like you're presenting it the same way they do Anderson Windows on the 9 a.m. show with the weather guy, okay? Like the way you're presenting things is like this. We're trying to sell some people on the idea that this is who we are, and it's like, yeah, but you're also humans. Right. And you know when a person does weird stuff and looks odd and doesn't come off all shiny the way they're supposed to with what they're discussing.
And they're talking about a man who is manipulating our president with ease.
And that's one person, by the way.
With ease.
You're the media. Your job as the media is to do what you're supposed to do.
Yes.
So journalistic integrity, which as a commentator, a political commentator, myself and yourself, Jason, we're not journalists. We didn't go to J school for any of this. It's not our thing.
No.
But some of these people did. They did go to J schools, and they did get
if you're a reporter.
And you're a reporter, and so, like, your job is to not just take whatever they're going to throw into the teleprompter and just speak it up like everything's great, grand, and gravy. Your job is to push back a little bit on things that you know are not true. Another example of this, ladies and gentlemen, let me explain. If you remember, by the last year of the first term of Donald Trump's presidency of 2020, right? The COVID stuff had happened. Then there was a lot of yelling about Dr. Fauci was a bad person, and he was a liar, and it was all this. And
he won't let me lie, so he's a liar.
And by the way, I'm running for president, and it's obvious that this is rigged, and you guys are rigging this, and everything's rigged.
It's so exhausting.
And that was up front, remember, because it was off the end of his win in 2016, where it was
that was rigged too.
There was rigged elections, and we found out that we did have some involvement from Russia and a bunch of different things.
But that's what he does. He likes to rig it, and then he wins. Stops talking about that.
It's okay. It's cool if I win.
It wasn't rigged. This one's rigged.
And by the way, Jason, you just hit on something perfect. If you're constantly the one who's saying everything's okay when I win, it's not okay when you win. You see, when you won Donald Trump, the liberals and the moderates all said, okay, Donald Trump won. He gets to be president of the United States. When you guys lost, when you didn't win, you didn't act like the elite-ist, smart, educated, more well-endowed, big brain liberals and moderates that we are. You came off like the stupid trailer park, local, yokel, rural moron that you are. That's what happened.
You know what?
Do you see? That's what happened. And so now we have crazy, stupid stuff all over the place. And you're like, but millions and millions of people voted for this, and this is what they want. You're right.
That's not true.
I do not need my media presenting the lies. And that last year, if you remember, of his first term, during the COVID stuff, they stopped carrying his press conferences.
Because he lied all the time.
In the last 3 months leading up into that election.
Even Fox would pull away.
They would pull away from his stuff. Here we are in the first 3 weeks of this new term. I bet you the same floor directors and same producers all work for CNN and MSNBC and all these.
Here.
They've been there for years doing what they do. They're not cutting away at all.
We won't lie this time.
Listen, you guys are morons.
You know what? Hey, speaking of morons.
You're morons. I don't know what you're doing.
Think about this. Think about in your head right now. You're dumb enough to believe that everyone is lying about him.
Everybody is lying.
Everybody. It's all untrue.
Guys, he went into the Social Security numbers. He found 150-year-olds with them.
Yeah, sure
and
he
he
did.
believed
Sure he
that
did.
there were people benefiting at 150 off of stupid Social Security numbers. Now, you're a media broadcaster and a J school
that's
graduate.
100% not
You
true.
hear that story right there, and you still ran the clip. And when you brought it back to the newsroom, you didn't say, "Hey, listen, we're going to push back on this a little bit."
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not 150-year-olds running around.
You
with
know
that.
what?
Why did no? You didn't
If
do
that
any
was
of that.
true, there would be a person arrested today.
You guys let that run.
Yeah.
You let that get out there, and because of that, guys like me and Jason who do this for a living, it's tougher. It's more difficult for us to do our jobs because your silly, goofy, wannabe 9 a.m. dumb TV show wanting ass sits there and does dumb stuff like that. It makes it harder for Jason and Mark, who are liberals and moderates, at a Fox News station currently. Think about that. Think about if you went on your job, person over at Channel 4 on the 9 a.m. news show, right?
Yes.
Where we're all supposed to be kumbaya and it's Renewal Windows by Anderson and this, all this. And I've got another
fireplace
I've got
shot.
another with fireplaces and we're going to cook some wings up with another local whatever. Imagine if when you went on the air, those people were there to cook up the wings and you were like, we were going to cook wings, but unfortunately, we're not going to do any of this and just shove their stuff off the table and just stood there and looked at the camera. That's literally what I have no choice but to do because of you guys.
You know how you know this 150-year-old collecting Social Security is untrue? Because first off, that means they've been collecting it for 85 years. That means that's multi-generational family fraud that they've passed down somehow.
Sure.
It has went unnoticed.
Under the Bush administration, under the
Hoover administration,
under the Hoover,
before
Reagan,
predating Social Security.
No. Just don't worry about the liberals. Just line up all their presidents.
Right.
I don't know. Donald Trump won. Wait. So you're telling me that under the first term of Donald Trump, the president of the United States right now, who's in his second term,
Yes.
For 8 years ago, that family was committing fraud with that Social Security number, and you allowed it to happen, Donald Trump? You, under your watch as president, allowed that to continue on, especially after that evil Obama let it happen? This is crazy. This is out of control.
Like, that's 1940. That's like, what, 4 or 5 years after the passage of Social Security. That's a lie. That's a lie.
That's what I'm saying.
That's untrue.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take a break here on the show. When we come back, more with myself and Jason. We'll be back right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the QNow. What's your name?
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Jay Abraham.
No, your name's Jay Abraham?
Yeah, remember?
No, I don't remember you ever being Jay Abraham.
That was literally my name on Twitter.
Well, yeah, but I said, what is your name? You'd be Jason Call.
That's right.
Your name is Jason Call. You know what I'm saying? What did you do? Did you just cut our
killed it.
music? Why? I handle that.
doing.
You don't do that. Don't do that again. Stop that.
You can't reach it.
It's crazy. It's out of control. You're right. I can't reach it. It wasn't my genius idea to build a studio with no door on it and like this. By the way, if I get ready to say the word,
you can't fix it.
Did I just use my button to
Yeah.
beep?
Hey, there you go.
You better stop around. You know what I'm saying, Jay? You're a real loser.
You don't have
man.
one. That's fake.
All right. So, welcome
pretend.
back to the show. My name is Mark Bland. That's Jason Call over there. Jay Abraham, I guess,
right.
evidently. Don't know anything about that.
That's always been my name on Twitter.
That's probably been your name. I don't know if is Abraham a part of your real
That's
name?
my middle name.
Okay, so Abraham is a part of your name. So when you say I'm Jay Abraham, you're right.
I'm telling the truth.
I was trying to get people to hear your first and last name so that they could identify you.
Oh, I don't want
I
to
wanted you to
identify me.
introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Cole.
There it is. That's all you got to do. Perfect. All right. So I yelled at the media.
That's right.
I told them that they were bad for the way that they were.
It's ridiculous. Let's correct obvious lies.
You're right. I mean, it's just one of those things.
Right.
If I see, listen, after the Channel 4 thing, I flipped over to CNN. They were in the middle of letting Trump spew out of his mouth at the Oval Office from his desk like he's been doing because he's too lazy to get up and go to a press conference anywhere. They let him do it again from his desk, and he's sitting there and he's talking about how he loves Trump or likes Putin and this and I'm sitting there the whole time going, when are you going to pull away? When are you going to cut from this BS right here, CNN, and go, well, the president's just saying things again, and
this
it doesn't.
Nonsense. It has nothing to do with prices
nonsense, and it has nothing to do with prices
or anything. You know, he literally gave Putin everything he wanted without first ever speaking to Zelensky.
So listen, I put up a post, Jason, yesterday or the day before, and I said, this is what I said. I said. Something to the. In fact, let me read it here. Let me read this. Let me just bring this. Let me bring this bad boy up live here on the show.
We are factual. We have talked about that off the air before. You can see
me on my phone, literally doing what I am doing and what I'm good at. Now, here is what I said. You ready? Here's what I said. Being offended because Biden had cheaper gas and prices, it doesn't look good on you. Okay, now that's a good post. Because it doesn't look good on you. You guys were really mad about Joe Biden and his gas prices and his food prices and costs, but he had cheaper prices and gas, and you guys you were offended by that. It really made you angry.
Don't yell at us because you just realized he's not going to do anything about cost, and he lied about it.
I had a person come through, and they said, I don't know why you people think that the mistakes of the last 4 years can be undone in less than a month. If you think Harris would have fixed these problems by now, you're living in some kind of fantasy land there, dude.
She might have had a plan.
Hate to tell you, things would be getting a lot worse.
I guarantee what she wouldn't be doing was going around attacking people who prosecuted and investigated me for doing a bunch of crimes.
All right. Now, another person had said to me in the same thing. Yes. This was their comment to me, and it's based off of a post a few days earlier that they were involved with me on.
Yes.
This post says, I thought yesterday he was in the past, talking about Joe Biden.
That's right.
He was in the past. We don't need to talk about him anymore because he's from the past. That's what you said, Mark. And then I said, you know what? You're right. I said in my edit for the post, I said, people don't want me to mention Biden. So let me try it this way. You ready, ladies and gentlemen? I said this. Same post. Just a different spin. No president in history has had higher egg prices than Donald J. Trump, Jason.
That's a factual statement.
He is the bestliest of all the bestest presidents that have ever bestest and loved it all the way. There it is. There you guys go. You see, I didn't mention Joe Biden at all, and I let everyone know that Donald Trump right now currently has the highest egg prices of any president that has ever existed in the history of presidents in the United States. And because he likes to hold all these trophies of being the first and the best, this is another one he can put on his mantle along with the rest of them. There you guys go. Now you look like the morons once again that we said you were.
And you know what they do? They'll tell you it's because of the bird flu and act like you're stupid because you don't understand. Meanwhile, this also happened under Biden's watch, which we tried to explain to them. There was an avian flu, killed all of the chickens that lay eggs.
Yep.
And they acted like you're a moron.
Hey, Jason, what do I always say?
It's like a dumb loop.
What do I always say about us and why we're good at what we do? We can always pull back way bigger. How about this? Did a little research, ladies and gentlemen. The United States is the only country in the world currently experiencing issues with their egg prices. The only country in the world experiencing issues with their egg prices. One, because we don't typically import a lot of eggs.
No,
we don't. That's why the flu killing the birds was such a big deal, because it affected a lot of things. But also, Jason, if the rest of the world isn't having issues and the same avian flus exist in other parts of the world, maybe the United States is behind the times on how they handle their business. And maybe you farmers, I'm talking to farmers that run farms, maybe the guys that understand farming and the farms, because I know some people that run farms, maybe they can help me out with this. You're the guys who understand how all this works. So, like, you should know also that these things are researchable and we can figure them out in other parts of the world. Why are you allowing this to be the case?
And if only there was something
that?
we could give these chickens at birth that would stop them from getting.
I don't know. Is there something like that? Is there something like that? Is there?
No, there is. They're fighting to be used.
I literally
now they're talking about.
But hold on, I
affecting your
literally
eggs.
have no idea if there's vaccines for chickens or for animals.
Well, it's just
like
a flu.
That. Like, but I'm just saying I don't know if there was vaccines for animals.
They don't want them to have it.
You know
that the other day.
Listen, you guys can all sit here from your cubicles at the jobs that have nothing to do with
everything,
making eggs at all. And you can complain about high egg prices and how you're unhappy about how all of this goes down while you sit there and high-five your friends over Robert Kennedy becoming health secretary.
Yay, polio.
Or you can start listening to people that don't sit in your cubicle and do your dumb job every day because it's unimportant and nobody cares. And you can go figure out, like, oh, maybe there's people that do this for a living and I can find out actual information about the things I talk about.
If you don't want to pay high egg prices, next time your daughter asks you to have chickens as a pet, say yes.
Yeah, you could do that. Or just, I don't know, continue to live your life in the country that's so great that you refuse to go anywhere else. Hey, let's try this, Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, conservative Trump voters and conservative Republicans of America. My name is Mark Bland, and I want to come to you with this little PSA that I think is really important. Right now, egg prices in the United States are at a high, Jason.
Yeah, they're like $37.
They're at an all-time high. They're really crazy here. And unfortunately, based off the research we've done, which was very easy, I pulled from all of my favorite Rogan YouTubers. This situation is not going on in other countries. By the way, in other countries, if you move to them, you might have universal health care where basically whatever job you do from your cubicle now, you could probably do it from a cubicle there.
Oh, for sure.
And then you would also have to pay for your health care.
You might have an extra $450 a month.
Yeah, you might have extra money in your bank account every single month because those liberals are freaking trying to stick it to you by getting you extra money in your bank account every month. Those dirty liberals trying to make you money and your family money. How dare they? Listen, the point of this PSA is simple. There are other countries you could move to with lower egg prices currently. You literally could get there. And you wouldn't have to worry about all these other issues. So listen, if you would like to move to another country, it's right there. The opportunity has presented itself, and they have cheaper egg prices than your country, the United States of America, where that First Amendment and that Second Amendment exist on our documents that protect you so that you can grab your gun off your mantle. It's right there, ladies and gentlemen. It's right there for you. So with that being said, hopefully, if you guys want some cheaper egg prices and you're not really worried about, I don't know. Oh, what you want? What you know what you want, Jay? You know what you're trying to get me to do?
Nope.
You're trying to get me to move. You're trying to get me to move to one of them liberal countries like France, where everybody's running around all multicolors. You mean
inclusion.
You mean the democracy that is the country of France, where you can live there like you do in America
and actually get
wake
along
up
with people of different cultures?
Do your job every day, go and vote during their elections for people just like you do in the United States. Basically having the exact same life you have in the United States, but in a different country where the grocery stores have different things on their shelves than what you're used to. So you don't get any more Breyer's ice cream. Get it? That's great. But they do have vanilla ice cream in other countries.
Yes.
They do make these things.
That stuff.
You'll be fine. They have eggs for cheaper in other countries. So listen, what we're trying to do is help you help us. Help you help us.
Now with RFK as Health and Human Services Secretary, it's going to be hard to eat eggs in an iron lung. So high egg prices might be the least of your concerns.
All right. RFK gets the go-ahead.
Yep.
Cash Patel got the go-ahead.
He went through?
I think Cash got...
That is ridiculous.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Tulsi Gabbard did.
Wait, no. Tulsi got through.
Literally a Russian asset is now...
Pete Hegseth got through.
The National Security Advisor.
Robert F. Kennedy got through.
Yes, he did.
I'm sure Linda McMahon and them will get through.
Yeah, she talked today.
That'll be easy. That'll be easy stuff. Today. But, guys, Why would you want somebody who is anti-vaccine?
Right?
You can have an individual who says, I choose as an American to not want to take the vaccine. That is my choice, as Robert Kennedy. If you want to take the vaccine, fine. We'll develop vaccines. We'll work on them. Fine. That's fine. We'll do that over there. If you don't want to take the vaccine, you won't be chastised or accused or anything held against you here in this country. And the rest of us will be like, yeah, you're fine. You don't want to take. By the way, COVID happened. I famously have come on the show and told the story of I had a neighbor refused to get the COVID vaccine, decided to leave his job as a police officer or whatever it was. At the same point, everybody coming to me is, look, he had to lose his job over it. I'm like, no.
He didn't have to.
They came to him and said, for all of us to continue working on the force, this is what they're requiring of us. You can either do it or you don't have to. But if you don't do it, we might not be able to maintain your employment with us further. That didn't mean he couldn't go to other places and try to be a police officer or an FBI agent or a real estate agent or whatever the job is. It doesn't even matter what the job is. There are other places you could try and go to. No, I deserve to have the job I've had because I deserve it. And it's like, once again, you're that indignant, moronic, GED-styled person.
Right. That's entitlement.
Who thinks that you are owed something. Listen, this Donald Trump stuff, you're not owed anything because your guy lost in 2020 and you had to sit there for 4 years and deal with it like everybody else. You're not owed some retribution or some vengeance. See, they've sold you on this idea that you could beat up Mark Bland and Jason Call. Bro, come step to me and find out real quick. All that was BS. You can't beat up anybody. None of you with your iron lungs and your gravy seal jackets are going to be able to run a quarter of a mile from the house that you currently are standing in. While you hear me say these words to you, you won't even be able to get a quarter of a mile at full speed away from that house, and they'll still hunt you down and beat you.
An iron lung.
What are you talking about? You are owed no vengeance, no retribution. I'm owed no vengeance or retribution because Donald Trump won. Not literally, I'm not. Right. I'm not owed anything. So I don't know where you get this idea of you're owed something, but I can tell you this. When the devil's away, idle hands will play.
Right.
And that's the way the game works. So I had to go sit down for a punishment.
Huh?
Did you have to go sit down for a punishment, Jay?
I did.
And how long was that for? Like a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
So for a month and a half, idle hands were just sitting there with nothing to do. With nothing to do. So guess what? Yeah, they might have went around and played. They might have found things. They might have talked to people.
Touching on stuff.
They might have called phone numbers in different states like Virginia and places like that. They could do a lot of things. They really could.
Yes.
So the question is how smart were you? How smart are we versus you? Oh, I thought it was retribution and vengeance and you were owed it and you could just do it easily, except for not this time.
You know what I would tell people? You can look up the evidence
shoulder shrug
listed in the search warrants and the indictments.
Yeah.
Read that and tell me this man deserves retribution. That this man is getting revenge. He is getting revenge because criminals get revenge.
Yeah, criminals get angry. Mob bosses get angry because they get caught doing all the 50,000 things that they know that. Listen, you all love The Sopranos. You thought it was an amazing show.
He was a criminal.
These are individuals that were getting. The people that were writing that show were getting and interviewing and talking to former mob bosses, guys like Michael Francis, who's been on this show specifically. Like, they were talking to a bunch of different people while writing that show to learn all those little things behind the scenes to make that show as authentic as possible. You sat there for what? 6 seasons, 7 seasons, 8 seasons, whatever it is. Watching this man be a criminal, you loved every minute of it because he was a criminal in this enterprise. He was a criminal in that enterprise. When he talked to this person, the criminal stuff came out here, and then criminal stuff came out there. And you were like, oh, it's great. It's great being a criminal. It's great getting away with criminal. Oh,
now it's real life.
You know what? It is real life. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to take a break. We'll be back on the show after this. Bye. 1280 AM, 105.3 FM, KYRO. Welcome back to the QNow. We appreciate you guys listening every single week like you do here from the Gateway Fiber Studios of KYRO. Every Thursday night, 7 to 9 p.m. live. You can call in if you want, 636-625-6397. That's 636-625-6397. Welcome back to the show. And Jason, I have another topic I need to move to. I want to discuss this because it's wild, man.
Okay.
Trump claimed today that Putin was the best person to talk with about the Ukraine war. And he gives good information.
Right,
That's what he told her. He gives good information. Right. But it is the info with an agenda attached, specifically regarding a bloody war that is going on, not hyperbole.
But they deserve it. They deserve their land back.
Not hyperbole like Trump's deals in typically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Notice also all of the Trump's decisions are for places far away from the shores of the United States. He feels by doing things in other places, he looks like he deserves backpats for it locally, but he is just fixing issues far away so he doesn't have to deal with the backlash from Gaza or other far off places like Ukraine. Now, let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. Let me explain what I'm trying to get at with this, okay? This is very simple, okay? We have a guy like Trump who's claiming that a guy like Putin is a good person to get this information from and all this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is Trump likes to deal in faraway things.
Yeah.
I want to redistribute the Gaza people and take over the Gaza Strip. I want to do this thing over here with Ukraine, which is way over there. I want to do this with Iran over here, right? All of these things that he wants to. I want to take Mexicans and I want to send them back to Mexico, way down there in Central America.
Keep some of them near Cuba.
Keep some of them in Cuba and places like that. Like, I want to get rid of things and I want to send it far, far away. Now, while he's doing all of that, Elon Musk is like, oh, I want to do things here locally. I want to get into the U.S. Treasury directly and find out about your social security.
Your money.
I want to redistribute your money locally. I want to shut down USAID and other programs.
Stop them from investing.
Stop all of that from happening here. While that can be stopped, I want to shut down the Department of Education locally. It's not Trump himself who is doing a lot of those moves. Those are the people around him that keep doing the local things. They're keeping his focus far away because if my focus is on Putin and the Ukraine, that's where I'll really catch backlash.
Yeah.
You see, by being the guy who stays over here, I'm just an innocent guy playing middleman that you can pat on the back if you like what I do, or you can just not like me if you don't. But you're not going to do anything to me here because nobody's going to try to do anything to me here.
He's such a fanboy.
Except for in Pennsylvania at rallies. They'll try to do things to you at those places.
You know what I mean? He's now such a fanboy.
With that being stated, Elon and them are like, oh, we want to mess around with things here. And it's like, because we're not the president. Because we won't catch the blowback the same way, supposedly. It should go on his shoulders, and we're just doing what we're told.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Computer programmers and coders, not accountants.
This is iconic. Not virtually the same, not sort of on the same level as. This is iconic levels of similar to the way that Hitler and Germany and fascism came to rise in that country. Literally, let me give all of you conservatives a little bit of a history lesson, maybe some pieces they didn't tell you about in your history books growing up, but you could go do the research for yourself. When Adolf Hitler, became the head of Germany, he shot the Reich. He had the Reich killed, all right? And then he took power. But up until the Reich was killed, and up until that year that Hitler took power, Germany was a democratic country. They had elections, and they would choose people, and there were people that were put into places, and they had like this whole king and queen Reich Fuhrer type setup and all this other stuff, but it was like the people that ran those positions at that, like Otto Warren or whatever his name was, Otto something was the guy that he killed. We can look it up. World War II, the guy who Adolf Hitler was running Germany when Adolf Hitler was killed. Look that up for me.
Otto von Bismarck?
Something like that. Something like that. Those guys were just like the Queen of England was at one point. I'm a figurehead. My only job is to really make sure that the country doesn't end up in flames and go burning down a hill at high speeds. So as long as I hold that and maintain that position, just which Reich did Hitler kill? Like, it'll tell you. I got to help this old man out. This dude is crazy. So anyway, back to what I was saying. The Queen of England, the King of England, the King of Scotland, people like that, all they do is they're a placeholder. They know that the guy before them was their father or their brother or whoever it was. They're the next person in line, and their job is to hold on to the country and make sure it just doesn't turn into a dumpster fire. That's their only job. And then hold that place and maybe spend some of the money and enjoy your life along the way until the next person who's going to take over, usually your son, for kings and queens and stuff, until your son becomes old enough, and then they take the throne from you, and you just kind of wade off into the sunset, or however that works, depending on the king and how it happened with their life. That's the exact same thing that they had in Germany. Everything was fine. And then this crazy guy came along, and he's like, you know what would be interesting? It would be interesting if from the ground up, I was able to turn around and build a superpower war machine that could go on and take on other parts of the world and conquer them, and then be the biggest dog on the block with the most weapons and all the power at my advantage. But I have to build it from the ground up. I've already started. I killed the Third Reich. We're moving forward. I'm getting to levels where I can start attacking other countries.
It was Ernst Röhm.
Ernst Röhm. I'm sorry. I thought it was Otto something.
He was the leader that the main one killed during the Night of the Long Knives in 1934.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yes.
Now, Ernst and those guys were cool with, like, we just want the country to not be a dumpster fire and then hand it off to the next guy.
They didn't want centralized power, and that's what Hitler wanted.
Hitler wanted, I am in control.
Everything.
I am the guy. Everyone loves
church.
me.
I'm telling you what to do.
It's me, me. And so
don't make fun of me.
Yeah, exactly. Don't talk about me. You can't say mean things.
Right?
You can't even be a judge and judge things because that's literally your job.
Judge me.
Because if you judge me bad, you're wrong. But if you judge me right, I'm good.
And our vice president literally just said that to judges.
But did you see that, John? What I said there, Jay?
Yes. Yeah.
I
you
said,
can't judge me.
You can't judge me.
Yes.
If I'm wrong, then you're bad for saying that because you're the problem.
Something wrong with you.
If I'm right, it's because I'm right. It's not because you were wrong or you were this or that. It's because I was right all along.
Behavior.
You guys needed to pay attention to me. And it's like, yes.
All they have to do is take 5 seconds and look a couple of these things up. What is wrong with them? Why don't they do it?
Do you know how many times I've been accused of narcissism in my life? Because of the way a lot more than that. Because of the way I talk. And do you know when you're a young person, 19, 20, 21 years old,
I remember it finally.
And you're a individual who has access to libraries and books and the ability to research things?
I love that.
You go look up what narcissism really is. You go figure it out. You go break it down. You know who never does that? People with true narcissism. They never go into that because they think that you're wrong already because they're always right and they're narcissistic. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, may I present you one Mr. Donald J. Trump. And the reason Donald J. Trump is an issue on all of this stuff is simply the fact that we just don't have a good spot for a person like this within our country right now. Listen, the United States of America built to the levels that it did and the size that it did and the quality that it has because of the laws, the regulations, the stopgaps. At one point, there was Tammany Hall and robber barons and a bunch of people doing crazy stuff. And then we learned those guys can't be trusted. They're like William McKinley. He got shot for it. Like, you guys, this has already happened, by the way, in the early 1900s. You're now 100 years down the road. It's the early 20s. Like the early 2000s.
Yeah,
the early 2000s now. And you're repeating the same fascist-style steps on their way to the same issues, except for, as I stated, Hitler had to do it from the ground up, a much more difficult task.
Yes.
A guy like Trump walks right in with the same mentality and tendencies, but he has the biggest war machine on the earth at his advantage. And he has the position of the most powerful and most respected leader in the entire world. And so because he has the two things that that Hitler wanted the most, that's what Hitler was trying to get to. Trump has it and then walks in and has the military and everything on top of it. You handed the man the keys to the castle and you said you liked to be raped. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you hand the rapist the keys? Why would you hand the E. Jean Carroll problem the keys to the castle and say, the thing you love to do, go do it to everyone?
No.
What? What? What, America?
I mean, he's literally the worst person for a presidency because he cannot work with anyone. It's why all his businesses fail. That's why he files bankruptcy on them. That's why Trump Steaks, Trump Water, Trump Vodka, Trump Airline, Trump University, all of that fail. Because he cannot work with anyone. He is incapable of taking any sort of criticism.
I am going to say something that is going to blow the minds of stupid conservatives.
Okay.
It's going to make the minds of relatively educated conservatives go,
my favorite,
interesting. And it's going to make really, really smart conservatives go, yeah, I can see why you would do that. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
But I know that the majority of the people that vote for Trump are the dumb conservatives. They're not either the middle or the top guys.
I would call them more reactionary.
They're very reactionary. Here we go.
They don't take the time to learn.
They don't. You're right. No, that's fair. Instead of dumb, reactionary, because that's really what it comes down to. And I agree with you.
And if they watch Fox and OAN and that, they're not getting the real information.
I have friends that are conservatives that I do, like John Shepard was on the show. We trust his opinion and we listen to him, and he's a smart man when it comes to discussing things. So I'm not going to sit there and label everybody on the same thing, but reactionary individuals. Here we go. Here we go. I would rather have Mitch McConnell or Lindsey Graham as president of the United States.
Mitch McConnell for sure.
Or maybe Lindsey Graham as president of the United States.
You know what? Lindsey Graham, without whatever Donald Trump has over him, is a normal person. I'd be okay with that.
Mitch McConnell with whatever he doesn't have. Paul Ryan with whatever he doesn't have.
Paul Ryan would be a lot better.
Republicans, you guys had Liz Cheney sitting right there. You could have had her as your president of the United States. Very conservative in her stylings. And her dad was a former VP. There's a lot of options. I just said Paul Ryan. There's a lot of options out there on the board. I would have rather. Now, I know this is wild.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to go down this road too. You ready for this one, Jay? This is gonna catch you off guard.
Who?
I would rather have Rand Paul.
Ooh, now
as president of the United States.
He's a Russian asset too.
Is he?
Hell, he always comes off on the side of Putin. It's weird.
More than Tulsi?
He's in the Tulsi Gabbard frame. He's right with her.
More than Donald John Trump?
No.
Oh, okay. So anyone who's not willing to be pushed around legitimately, you could be an asset, but you might not be able to be pushed around. There might be a line you have that you're not willing to cross. See, Trump doesn't have a line that he's not willing to cross.
His loyalty is to himself.
His loyalty is completely to himself.
He would sell out the entire country if it would enrich himself or his businesses or some sort of wheel that he could grease for someone in a heartbeat. And that is not someone you want as president.
That's not. Right? That's not what you're looking for in your president of the United States.
No.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the deal. We are going to take a quick break here on the show. When it's done, we're going to come back. I have a third topic I want to talk about, and then I have some other topics that have kind of just popped up. But think about those people I said. All of those people would have made better presidents, in my opinion, than Donald Trump. That's it. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen.
They would. Even the ones I wouldn't really want would still be better.
That's right. That's right. All right. We're going to take a quick break. We'll see you guys after the top of the hour on KYRO. 1280 AM. 105.3 FM, KYRO, 102.5 WIBH. Welcome back to the show. Man, Jason.
That's a Gen X hit right there.
Did you get a chance to catch the Super Bowl, sir?
I did.
We talked about those prop bets and all that. There was no Travis Kelce asking anybody to marry him.
There was a mention of Drake on the stage.
There was a mention of Drake on the stage directly, yes.
Okay.
So that one would have paid out. But man,
That
I'll
was
tell you,
low, too. That would have been a good
I'll
one.
tell you the ones that killed me though is the fact that the Chiefs just did not show up to play football at all, sir.
No, it took like 3 quarters before they started getting into it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy,
Right.
Kind of wild. I was sitting there and I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Philadelphia just score at ease. But more than anything, what really caught my attention was how many turnovers Patrick Mahomes just gave up.
Yeah, well, he threw
like
2 picks.
And
he gave up a fumble, right?
3 interceptions, but
Was it
one
3?
was a pick six.
That's
if you
right,
remember,
yeah.
one was
that was
a pick
a former
six.
Iowa player.
Exactly. That's my point. It's really wild to me that this Chiefs team just kind of didn't show up for the game, or the Philadelphia Eagles are just that amazing at defense, except for they didn't show it the majority of the season. So nobody really talked about the Eagles defense being the best defense of the season by any means. I'm not saying that by the end of the season their numbers didn't bear out to where they were one of the top teams.
They were like the best team at the end of the year. So going into the playoffs, they were just steamrolling people.
Yeah, they were. So was Detroit, though. Detroit was walking over everybody, and they ended up losing.
Yeah, they could see that coming, though. He just can't coach in the playoffs. I don't know what his deal is.
I was just kind of astounded. I don't think that next year could be much different than what we got this year. You might see another Eagles versus Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl.
Depends on what the Bills. If the Bills can find some stuff in a draft and get a little better, they'll probably beat the Chiefs.
If I'm the Bills, if I am the Bills, I need a guaranteed killer running back. I need someone that I can count. I need a Derrick Henry type. I need
maybe they
someone.
Get that Genty from Boise State.
Sure, you could maybe get someone like that, but there's no that. Once again, that goes back to my old argument. A lot of people are always hot on all of the top 3 QBs that come out of the college world every draft season, and everybody says, "Oh, they're all going to be great." So Trevor Lawrence, he did fine.
Yeah,
so did Jaden Daniels. He did fine.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of good quarterbacks that it takes a few years, like Baker Mayfield. Hey, Baker, the first year or two that he was out into the league, he wasn't putting up killer numbers, but he kept Cleveland together enough to where they could put pieces like Nick Chubb around him, and then eventually they made it to the playoffs with him as the quarterback.
You can win with Baker Mayfield. He's that good.
Listen, I do believe with the amount of talent that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have on that team, they finally figured out this year, we have the squad with Bucky Irvin and Godwin and Mike Evans as our wide receivers. We've got the team to where we can turn around and a decent quarterback. Yeah. We could actually give anyone a run for their money. We could be in the NFC Championship game. We could easily make it to a Super Bowl. We really could.
They'll be in the playoffs.
I just think that the reason why Josh was the most valuable player, this is a big argument this year. Why does he deserve it versus Lamar Jackson or anybody else? As me personally, my personal opinion, okay? This is not based off of anything other than my own research and watching football and knowing what I like in football and what I see with my own eyes. Lamar Jackson obviously had the numbers to be the best player in professional football this year. Yes. But the award is for the most valuable player, the person that is the most valuable. And outside of Lamar having the best numbers of the year, Josh Allen's right there in the top 3 with him. He's around the corner.
Not very far away.
With his numbers And so, therefore, he could have just had an extra good game or two, and he'd have the same numbers as Lamar. But the difference is Josh was the only player really on his team that could carry the team.
Yeah.
You got Amari Cooper there. You could use him, but then he was injured for a little bit, and he was having some issues. So that wasn't a piece you could work with. You got Dawson Knox, right? He's your tight end. Not a bad player, but Dawson's not doing like what Hawkins
he's not,
what's his name with Minnesota? Hawkinson, yeah, TJ Hawkinson.
Iowa.
Hawkinson.
Yeah.
He's not putting it up. So, and then you don't really have a running back. You had Darryl Singletary there for a little bit, and I liked Darryl Singletary. I thought he was the right type of running back for their system, but then they gave up on it and got rid of him. So it's like, all right, what do you guys...
Is Lamar Jackson better because of Derrick Henry? Is that why his season is as good or better than his previous ones?
I think
because Josh Allen doesn't have that. He doesn't have that.
Well,
back
Lamar definitely has. He's got a tight end in Mark Andrews that's amazing. He's got a guy like Zay Flowers who's an amazing wide receiver for him.
And Andrews and Henry both can drop back and block because Henry's built.
That's the other thing. I have a decent running back squad on the bench sitting there. I've got Derrick Henry on the field. And then I also have myself that can take off at any time. Right. So between all of these pieces, I've got 4 or 5 things to work with every single game. Just like Patrick Mahomes. I got a wide receiver that's good, and DeAndre Hopkins and Juju Smith-Schuster and people like Hollywood Brown. So I got 3 veteran wide receivers that are actually solid. I got Kareem Hunt and Pacheco as my running backs. Solid again.
Nope.
I won a Super Bowl with Pacheco.
Yeah.
So I know he's solid. Okay, I've got me and Travis, so I know that our little connection, like Gronk and Brady, it's going to be there at all times. As long as I got my little Wes Welker type player, I'm good.
Kelsey's probably top 5 tight end of all time? He's in the top 5?
I would say that Travis Kelce
in the top 10 for sure.
I would say he's definitely got to be in the top 5. He might be in the top 3 conversation. Yeah. If not, possibly you could look at it. Gronk's got a lot of Super Bowls. Yeah, he's got a lot of points and numbers. But here's the thing. To be the best tight end, you just got to have the best numbers plus some Super Bowls. So if you got 2 or 3 Super Bowls in your pocket, and then you put up numbers better than every other tight end in history, I got to look at you and go, well, he's got the Super Bowls. Yeah. He's got the numbers. Well, he must be the best at what he does. Yeah. Even if that guy's got 5 Super Bowls, that could be because that team was that good. It wasn't just because of him. Yeah. Having 5 Super Bowls doesn't necessarily mean your numbers were great. But if you got the numbers and some Super Bowls, I can't really argue on that.
Most Super Bowl winners, I think, I'd have to look it up, but I think I'd be like within 90% have a great tight end.
Sure.
That to me is like the most overlooked position. Maybe like real football guys do, but that's just so important because you can do so much with them.
I got disappointed a few years ago when I watched Aaron Rodgers win back-to-back years of MVP, if I remember correctly, or like 2 out of 3 years. 2 out of 3 years he was the MVP, and both times he won MVP, his team got bumped out in the playoffs. Okay, didn't even make it to the championship game or the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
okay, and on top of it, both of those seasons, Derrick Henry went for over 2,000 yards. Actually, I think he might have set the record for the most in a season, or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure on that.
But up there.
You guys it's up there for sure. But he went for like well over 2,000 yards, and he set another record that season that was just never done before. And it was like, okay, so you're more valuable of a player than Derrick Henry is because he carried that Titans team for everything it was worth. I was like, then the next year, Cooper Kupp had one of the most amazing wide receiver seasons. He put up like 1,500 yards as a wide receiver.
Their Super Bowl season,
which, by the way, he was 20 yards or 30 yards short of the record for the season, for the best season of a wide receiver ever. He was 20 yards short.
Sometimes it's just the position.
And then he won a Super Bowl that year with his Rams team. And you're telling me that the guy that got bumped off in the playoffs had a better season and is more valuable of a player than the guy who set a record and literally was 20 yards away from breaking the all-time record for wide receiver. And that's during the regular season. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
Those things are weird to me, man. I don't understand
That's
that
what I'm talking about.
stuff.
Sometimes they overlook stuff. Like it's always about quarterback, then you see who
And guys, This is coming from a professional athlete, like a person who's well, I'm a former professional athlete. I mean, I still work within the business of professional wrestling, so I guess I'm considered still a professional athlete to an extent. But at the same point, I get paid to perform athletically.
There you go.
But I'm not in the same vein as I used to be. At the same point, I played college basketball. I was a professional wrestler and did this for a living. So lifting weights and working out and running and all those things that go along with being a professional athlete.
Fun stuff.
I did all of that stuff. And what's really crazy is I think about those things when I make my comments. I think about what it's like to be in a locker room and to be sore and tired and have to do this day in and day out. And what it's like. Because, dude, guys, there were days I hit 2 to 3 shots on a weekend wrestling. And when I was at the weight room on Monday morning, I was sore and stiff and tired and unhappy, but I was still there pushing through it, lifting the weights and doing the work because that's what you do to keep the money coming in to provide for your family. So I did those things. And so I think about that when I think about why would a Aaron Rodgers not deserve it versus a Derrick Henry or a Cooper Kupp or any of those things. Like, I think about those things. It's important to me, and I think about what goes into being those players in those positions. I know for a fact that the quarterback gets a lot more pampered throughout the season with the way that they practice, as well as the way that they have to, like, now I'm not saying they take any less hits or they're any less good at their jobs. By no means. Quite often, the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, they're very good at what they do. I'm never going to take anything away from iconic players like that or people in the position of a professional, even an Aiden O'Connell, a professional football quarterback. I'm not going to sit there and talk down in any way because I know for a fact they're all out there busting their ass trying to make it good for their team. Everybody wants a Super Bowl ring, guys.
I mean, some of those guys don't get hit because of who they are. Like, they just get rid of the ball so quick, and they're so fast, and they can read the field and get rid of it and throw it to someone that you don't have time to hit them unless you're going to do it after and get a penalty.
Now, I know that we spend a majority of this time right now.
That's right.
Talking about sports.
And we can break out.
And we did. We can break out at any time into other things. Like, we're just good at that.
Right.
Good
full.
One of the things that I didn't mention earlier, back to politics for a little bit. One of the things I didn't mention earlier.
We're going to talk about Elon too.
Yeah, before this. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about Elon and all kinds of stuff. But Donald Trump, once again, not a gaffe, not a slip, not a trying to be, just straight up said it. He called Justin Trudeau Governor Trudeau on purpose.
Over and over again.
He keeps trying to push this idea that Canada is going to be the 51st state in the United States. When I hear that on a press conference, if I'm CNN or MSNBC or even Fox or any, you guys should just be like, all right, we're going to cut away now because, you know, he's talking about things that literally he has no control over unless he wants to go and invade Canada. Do you really think the world is going to like that? Now, I understand you're the all-powerful Trump. You could do it if you want, and everybody understands that. That might not be necessarily what Mark Bland, citizen of the United States, would like to represent us as we move forward in the country. Jason Cole, citizen of the United States.
I say go ahead. Do it. That'd be great. Who do you think they'd blame when they lose their free health care? Like, that'd be like an extra 70 representatives in the House.
They don't get it.
They'd never have the House again.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were just talking professional sports. I have never in my life heard an arena boo the national anthem. I'm watching clips of NHL hockey games where there are people singing and they are booing the U.S. national anthem in Canada's arenas because of what's going on. This is nuts, guys. Why would you want to be? I got to take a break. We'll be back after this. $12:80 a.m. The Gateway Fiber Studios. Mark Bland, Jason Cole, hanging out on this Thursday night with you guys, talking politics as we always do here on the QNow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Hope you're having a good time. Me and Jason were talking off the air. And there's a situation going on currently, Jason, that you and me wanted to kind of like discuss a little bit. We wanted to jump in and get on this, which was, all right, so ladies and gentlemen, we don't know if you have or not. We're going to figure out a way. Jason, I've already started searching to figure out ways to get ourselves a clip folder to where we can log into it, and then we don't have to worry about anybody else or anything else getting in on this stuff.
Man.
And then we can easily just set up the clips that we would like to play, and then you could pull them up while we're doing talk and all this, and then you could bring
clips clean.
Yeah, you could bring them up, and we can just play them live into the show so that you guys can hear this. But you could go search up Elon Musk Son Oval Office, and all of the clips and the videos will be there for you to listen to, and you can go listen to it with other people's opinions on it, without other people's opinions on it, where they isolate the audio, where they don't isolate the audio, the original video if you want. It doesn't matter which one you go and look at. It all caught the audio. And what it was Elon's son X.
Yeah, X, Y,
X or whatever,
ZI,
whatever it is. It doesn't matter. That first off, that's how I know you're a bad dad. Right there, you allowed your child to be named that. Now, I'm not against you as a father to name your child whatever you want.
Come on.
You're more than welcome to do that, and we haven't stopped you. And his name is X, and everybody has moved on with life. We really don't care. What we're trying to tell you is we know as fathers, by doing that and putting that on that person for the rest of their life, we know you're just not a good person. This is also why the X left you. That's why you have an X. You have an X because you weren't a good person. If they liked you and you were a good
all of
person,
your employees don't want to be
most people, all they do is look for someone who's good in their life to spend their life with. They would have stayed with you. So that's how we know you're not a good person. Now, with that being stated, Elon Musk decided to usurp one of Donald Trump's Oval Office. It was obvious that Trump was cool with it because he sat idly by and allowed Elon to speak however he wanted. He never interjected one time to anything that Elon said. But what was crazy was he had his 5-year-old son with him who was jumping around and playing and doing his thing. And he's a 5-year-old, so we as adults all understand and we get it. We're not knocking. Listen, Elon, you're not a bad dad because your son was playing around and having a good time in the Oval Office. Nope. That doesn't make you a bad. You're just a dad. We've all had to deal with it at a million different places. Sometimes where it was really uncomfortable and we didn't want it happening.
I fought a traffic ticket once with all 3 of my kids running around on the pews and stuff.
That's what I'm talking. You're fighting traffic tickets while trying to corral 3 kids all going a million miles an hour. Okay. So we've all been down these roads. Your son gets up and he walks over to the president of the United States and he explains to him a couple of things 2 different times. Okay, 2 different times.
Yeah.
The first time he chastised him and he said, "You're not the president of the United States.
You have to go.
You need to go." Okay, he tells him that. And then, a minute later, he leans over and he goes, "You need to shut your mouth," or whatever. You need to shut up, or you need to shut your mouth now, or shut up now, or whatever. You need to quiet down. And it's just First off, by the way, if I could be so bold, Jay, and this might make you crack up because we're friends and you just appreciate my comedy when it comes to this. If I may be so bold, only kid in the room that could be fact checked, and everybody would have been like, "He's right in both cases." You're not the president. The guy standing right there, he bought the presidency.
He's doing it.
We all know as adults in the room that that's what happened.
He's like, "Hey, can I take this?" Yeah, man. Yeah, cut that.
So
whatever.
When you say that you're not the president to the guy who was supposedly is named Donald Trump and won the presidency, we all know you're telling the truth. So fact check number 1, live fact check. You check off. You're verified. You don't even have to pay $8, okay? We're just going to give you your blue check mark on that.
Yes, you bring that in.
Then you said to the president of the United States, no, you need to shut up. You need to shut your mouth right now. You need to shut the hell up. You shut your damn mouth is what you need to zip it.
Right.
Zip it. He became Mr. whatever. What the guy from what is it? Fat Bastard and all that. Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil.
Zip it. He said zip it. You need to shut your mouth. Then everybody fact checked that and was like, "You're right. He does. That is the guy who needs to shut up all the time." Yes, correct. Look at that. Double check marks. Look at that. 2 check marks, Elon.
Then he backs up and marks his territory. He reaches up and pulls out a booger and wipes it on the desk.
Now, I don't have a problem with that at all. If you're going to mark your territory, he's a 5-year-old kid. He uses his boogers to mark the territory. We all have been there. Every one of us has been there. Hey, listen. I'm not going to sit there and say there weren't a couple of snot rockets when I was 5 that I didn't pull out or wipe somewhere on accident or whatever.
Of course I did.
I'm just a 5-year-old kid. But Jason, you made a good point.
Yes.
Explain to the people why as fathers.
Yes.
This is obvious that the things this kid was saying were just legit, and this is information he
has heard this before from dad out loud to another person. He needs to go. He's not the president. He has said those things out loud, and that kid was nearby. There's no way that kid brought that up on his own. He has heard that from his father, either out loud talking to himself or to another person in a room.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is.
He's going through your private information right now with a 19-year-old
named Big Balls.
Big Balls, who is a computer programmer,
and
a coder.
And a Fetty Wap fan, from what I've heard.
These are computer programmers and coders. They are not forensic accountants.
They're not even 30-year-olds who've been around the block a few times and understand that stomping your foot and being really angry about things isn't how you fix every problem in life.
The cutting is the distraction. They are putting things into our system. They are infiltrating. This is not Doge cutting. Ooh, we're going to cut this and cut that.
Now listen,
that's a distraction.
I'm not going to go full out and say that this is a coup of the United States.
You know what?
But let's
clip this portion.
Would it feel like that this could be a coup on behalf of the United States?
And a big dopey dope is the perfect person to do it to. Because all you have to do is tell him how cool he is, how amazing he looks, how smart what he said was, how he's so strong.
That's
all you got to do.
That's why I think it's kind of nuts. Right? I think it's kind of crazy that we as adults have been watching all of this, and we have 545 people total that are in control of the 330 million people and our moves that we make as a country. And if I've got 545 total people that run this entire country on behalf of all 330 million, there's at least a section of that 545 I would hope. Is it 35?
35, yeah.
I'm including
35.
The Supreme Court justices.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Everybody
then you're over.
runs
Then you're over
the
there.
country.
Yeah. There's 9 of them. So yeah.
President
44,
and vice president.
Yeah.
Yep.
46. Yeah.
Like, do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, those are the guys. Yeah. Speaker of the House. Speaker of the House is a lunatic.
But that's my point.
His son checks on his porn level. But what's going on?
But he's part of Congress. Right. He's in the original 535. So that's what I'm saying. My 545, I think, runs in that category. And my point being is, there are 545 people that are watching this with adult eyes also.
Yes.
Some that are 50, some that are 60, some that are 35 and 40, some that are 70 years old. They've all been around the block at different levels of the block in the game. They've all seen these things with other adults in their lives. And when they see it in their own lives, and it's not with some rich, famous person, they become... What's going on with so-and-so? They seem to be mentally ill.
Right.
There seems to be an issue with this person that needs to be fixed. Can we get them some help? When it's Donald Trump, rich man, famous former president of the United States, and they get a second term, they see it and they just go, well, that's just who he is. We're just going to let that go. And I go, no, this is when you guys that have that power in that 545, you guys are the ones that need to start speaking up and stomping your foot and saying, listen, I'm going to go back to my constituents. And by the way, Jason, it is a real fear that they got on Capitol Hill.
Yes.
Those senators, as well as those Congress people, they are going to play the loyalty card now, especially leading into the 2026 midterms. Because if they don't, they've already been threatened by Elon Musk, as well as JD Vance and the entire Republican Party of power that is
then physically threatened by the lunatic.
Susie Wiles, who's in charge, and people like that have explained to them, if you don't fall in line, we will primary you. You will lose your seats. We will pour millions into your opponents who are also going to be willing to be loyalists to us.
Mobsters do that.
But that's my point. they've already found the people in different places that could become the loyal list that they're willing to throw the money behind. They're now just waiting for this person to not play along, and then they'll just start dumping the money and letting that person flood those markets with their flyers that are signed off by Trump and Elon Musk and everybody who is important. And all of a sudden, the guy that was there, that was in the position of power with Elon and him, all of a sudden, it doesn't feel like he's got that power because you're speaking on behalf of my opponent now.
Yeah, and
your name's on my opponent's stuff.
And you notice they don't say like, we're really counting on your vote. We would hate to like primary you, but we will. Like they're not saying, they're saying like fall in line. Like who says that? Who says stuff like that?
Führers,
right?
Führers.
That's who says that.
Führers do stuff.
That's who says that.
Dictators.
That woman's telling them, it's a pleasure to come to this White House. You are here on, it's like, what are you talking about? We're the press. We run you. We tell you
as Americans
what we're going to do.
And citizens and patriots, we understand what this country is very well. We all do. And we enjoy the freedoms that we have.
Yes.
We appreciate our military and the individuals who have given their lives and have fought for us every step of the way. Whether it's Mark Bland right here or Jason Call over there or anybody who comes on the QNow, we respect our president of the United States. We might not necessarily agree. There were times when we didn't agree with Joe Biden. There were times when I didn't agree with Barack Obama. There were times when I didn't agree with a lot of different people over the years.
You can always respect the office.
Yeah.
You don't have to like the person because God
you can
told
hold
me don't.
The office in reverence. You don't have to hold the person.
But it is, serious people have done this job and have done well, and not an absolute lunatic.
But I think we have buried the lead when we've talked about all of this. Because, Jason, you are right about the father aspect, and that's how you know.
No, that's it happened. He said that out loud before. That kid's heard that.
You know the things that we're saying about the 545 people that should stand up. And if it was somebody who's not famous, they would call them mentally ill and that they need help. But because this person's this person, you're not doing it. So that's understandable, too.
And out of those people, how many dozens of those people had parents, literally their parents, who fought exactly these type of people in the 40s.
And Jason's also right about him going into the Treasury and into our Social Securities and all these things and messing around with these numbers and possibly infiltrating the computer side of things.
They're going to hold us hostage is what they're going to do.
But with all that said, the story that we literally kind of buried when this all discussion started, right? The all discussion, all of it, okay, was about his son and what he had said to Trump.
Yes.
But this is on the heels of how we started this. There was an Oval Office press conference that was usurped by Elon Musk.
You want to talk to me.
And what's interesting is I put up a post of a picture with him standing in a weird way behind Donald Trump.
Jittery all the
all
time.
Jittery and doing his weird thing with his head dipping down and stuff like that and all this and pretending
explaining things to you.
Remember,
like
he's going to give you his heart, guys. So his autism is out of control.
Yeah, he throws the ball really weird. It must stick to the palm of his hand.
With that being said, why is a man that we did not elect to a single office
I don't even care if he's appointed
for the United States at all.
No.
And was not appointed to an actual
that department doesn't
office
exist
that existed in the United States government prior to the inauguration of Donald Trump on January 20th of 2025. Why is this individual speaking to the entire press corps on behalf of the United States? And then
this dual citizen.
Then when he was pressed on certain things, turned to the people and said, well, listen, I'm not always right.
Yeah,
I'm not always going to be right.
I'm going to have to be corrected.
I'm going to have to be corrected. And it's like, excuse me. The reason that we hire the people we hire and we put the people in positions to hire the people that should be in positions like you're pretending to be right now is because they're vetting those individuals and they make sure that they know their stuff before they get up there. They're not just going to say something. Now, listen, as a political commentator, I have opinions. Jason has opinions.
Sure.
every time we come on here, sometimes we flub the name of a person or a thing.
It happens.
We know that the topic that we're talking about,
the context is true.
But the specific thing we might have flubbed or gaffed or whatever like that
doesn't change the facts.
that we are able to be people that could be corrected like that.
Sure.
And you could be like, hey, you were wrong about this little blah, blah, blah. And we'd be like, oh, okay, cool. No problem like that. We appreciate you correcting us, letting us know this. That's not the person that should be doing any of that correcting or needing correcting.
No.
That individual right there actually shouldn't even be speaking to the United States citizens at all on behalf of the United States government. I'm sorry. Number one, I can't understand your thick South African accent.
And
I am sorry. You supposedly have lived in this country.
In Texas.
And California. In San Francisco, of all places. You lived there for 20 plus years, and you're still like super thick with your South African accent? That doesn't make any sense to me. So you can't speak English well at all. You're not good at it.
Oh.
You're jittery and weird, so you kind of are off-putting. So that doesn't work well for us as people here in the United States.
I want to know, how would these people feel if I hired a bunch of contractors to come work at their house, and then they come up to me and go, hey, my wife's here alone. Did you background check all these guys? And I went, oh, no, we're not doing background checks for these guys anymore.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what Trump did to everyone who's working in his administration right now. They didn't do FBI background checks. They didn't look at them.
I helped moderate a pretty popular message board.
Yes.
In this area.
Yes.
Okay. And one of the things that pops into our message board from all these thousands of people that are on it are different things that they worry about within our community.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes the stories are similar to other sites or pages or whatever. One that was really popular and had hundreds upon hundreds of comments and likes and dislikes, all that stuff, was one about the ICE raids, because the ICE raids were going into their favorite Mexican restaurants and shutting them down, and they hated the fact that they couldn't get their tacos on Taco Tuesday or whatever it was. And it's like their biggest problem, remember, going into the election was, I need all the illegals deported, and I need all these dirty brown people and people of color out of my country. They shouldn't be here at all. And then all of a sudden it was, oh, wait. You didn't mean the guys at El Maguey, did you? Because you ain't talking about Casa Gallardo, are you? Because wait a second,
they're Nacho Supreme.
I really like Los Fuentes. I really like those tacos. So you're not trying to take my tacos away, because that's my Tuesday afternoon. Me and Bruce go and get them every Tuesday. I don't understand what's going on here. This is kind of crazy to me. You guys got worried about that, and you were crying about it. And it was funny to me, because it's like, that's what you voted for. That's what you asked for. And now you're getting it, and you're posting about how it makes you unhappy. And I go, I don't care. I don't care, because here I am on a Fox News station as the liberal trying to tell you guys, don't vote for Elon Musk. Don't vote for Donald Trump. Don't vote for any of these individuals that are like, by the way, we didn't vote for Elon Musk. We just got done talking about that. Nobody voted for Elon Musk.
And I don't think people understood really what's going on. Think about that. You wouldn't want a bunch of unverified, unbackground checked individuals at your house while your wife and children are home.
No.
Why do you want them in your government? Why do you want them in your private information? They have everything about you.
Well, wait a second, Jason. These
are prepper people, I thought.
But why would... Okay, you know what, Jason?
They're not alarmed?
Why would I listen to you, though? Why would I listen to you?
Think about it. Look it up on your own, I would tell them.
But sure, but why would I listen to you, Jason? What do you do? Well, how do you know? Why are you allowed to talk on some Fox radio station?
Yeah,
what do you know
what
about?
I would tell them.
No, talk to me. Tell me. Why do you know?
You should be alarmed, because I'm not someone who's ever alarmed. And I'm alarmed. They're supposed to be the preppers. They're supposed to be the guys who are ready to take on the government.
Ready for that red flag to pop up at any time.
They're letting the government take them.
But here's the best part. Listen, I've always said Batista looked better chasing the title than wearing the belt. And it's important for doomsday preppers. You guys need Joe Biden and liberals to be the president and in power, because if you don't have that evil anarchy that's coming to tear your life down and start Armageddon at any moment, you don't have a reason to keep prepping. Because if Donald Trump's there, the guy you love and support, he's like you. He's ahead of the curve. He's already... So So then you don't have to prep for anything. Why? Okay, so now you've wasted all your doomsday prepping time.
You know what?
All this sweet prepping time you guys could have.
And I would tell these preppers, immigrants aren't going to be the ones that shut down your financing, that shut down your funding until you give in to their demands. Because that's what's going to happen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here on the Q Now. When we come back, more with myself and Jason Call. We'll see you back on the Gateway Fiber Studios of KYRO right after this. AM KYRO. Welcome back to the Q Now. We're just hanging out on this Thursday night, having a good time with the Offspring and everybody.
Very Nirvana.
With Dexter and the Offspring. I do love this song. Fantastic song.
Right? Perfect mid-90s song.
I really wish we had like a Friday night love line show you and me did. I really do wish we had like a Friday night, every Friday night from 9 till midnight, me and you just playing cool songs like this, coming back with
sweet advice.
But coming back with a caller here or a letter there to discuss with them like whatever crazy weird things going on in their life and stuff like that. Always fun. Always fun, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we are here. We are always fun. This is always fun. Welcome to the Q Now. Always fun, the Q. What do I got here, Jason? You know what I do have here? Let me tell you what I do have here. We've been talking a lot of politics and a few other things.
Yeah, right. That's so much fun.
I mean, I guess I could do this story real quick. This isn't a bad one right here. Let's take a look at this story right here, Jason. Here's something you may not have realized, sir. The Ford F-150 has been the best-selling vehicle in America.
Wow.
For 42 straight years.
Holy crap.
Now, that's the best-selling vehicle in the country. That's of all vehicles sold on the road per year. The Ford F-150
I don't even feel like I see a lot of those.
By itself sells more than anything else. Now, the F-Series was first produced in 1977. But for more than 4 decades, no vehicle has been able to dethrone it at the top until now. Oh, it gets interesting.
Was it a Nissan?
The F-Series, according to new data from JD Dynamics, all right, the Toyota RAV4 has finally displaced the Ford F-150 as the best-selling vehicle in America. Wow. Toyota sold more than 475,000 units of the RAV4 last year, edging the F-150, which came in just under 461. Wow. So 475 to 461.
Ooh, maybe we can get a price war with these guys and get some cheap F-150s.
I've got the top 20 best-selling vehicles in the USA right here.
Ooh,
all right?
Wow.
So, Jason.
Yes.
If we know that the RAV4 is number 1 and we know that the Ford F-150 is number 2.
Yeah.
What do you think sits at the number 3 position?
Dodge Ram.
Now, when you hit 1, I will tell you if they are the one or where they're at on the list. The Ram 1500 is at 13th.
Wow, that far down. I see so many more of them, I feel like.
Now, I'm going to give you a few chances here, okay? So, give me another shot. Take another shot. Think of all the different types of cars.
Probably a Grand Caravan.
So, what's that? Is that a Dodge? Let's see here. I have no minivans on here at all.
Wow, really?
None. It doesn't look like any of these.
That's the whole less families thing going on. Like, people are not having kids as often.
Yeah, I don't really.
Elon doesn't like that.
All right, and I'll give you one more shot at what number 3 is.
Toyota Camry.
You're close. The Camry's at 6.
Oh. Look at that.
Number 3 is the Honda CR-V.
Really?
A Honda CR-V.
My sister had one of those.
The number 4?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Tesla Model Y.
Really?
Yeah. The Tesla is number 4.
Which one's that? Is that the base one? Or?
I think that's the one that's more slicked out that looks like the longer sedan.
That's the 4-door one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks nice.
Coming in at number 5, the Chevy Silverado, which I thought would have been in the top 3 because of the Ford truck, right? The competition.
I wonder if that's from Yellowstone.
Yeah, possibly. 6 was the Camry. 7, also a Toyota. Which one do you think it is? It's a Toyota. Which one?
What is that one? What's their SUV? I don't know what it's called.
Well, they have the Highlander and
Quad
they
4
have
or something like that. No, that's the truck.
4Runner.
4Runner.
They have the Highlander and the 4Runner. But it's a Toyota. It's a car.
Oh.
Corolla.
Oh,
There it is,
is that the nicer version of a Camry?
No,
or
that's
lower?
the smaller one. That's the smaller one.
Okay.
Then comes the Nissan Rogue at 8, the Honda Civic again at 9. So Honda holds 3 of the top 10 best-selling cars in the United States. Toyota holds 2 positions with the Camry and the Corolla. That's pretty impressive. Top 10
I guess
of all time.
a higher Toyota Camry is a Lexus.
Now, I'll tell you what was kind of crazy to me. I saw that the Chevy Trax made it to the 12th position. I'm like, that's the really small, cramped, like,
is that little
SUV?
Thing? That little short little...
Yeah, like, I was just kind of like...
Didn't Ford make their version of that?
Something like that.
It's
or
like,
is the Trax... I'll have to double check and make sure I know what I'm thinking about on that. 1500.
I think more than one. Maybe.
Then comes the Ram 1500 at 13th. 14th is the Ford Explorer. Then the Toyota Tacoma, the Tesla Model 3.
Okay.
Chevy Equinox, Subaru Crosstrek, the Subaru Forester, and the Subaru Outback all hold the last 3 positions. So there you go.
Killing it at the end.
Was your car on that list? Do you have any of those cars on that list? Let me double check this list real quick.
No,
I have none of the cars that are on this list. My dad has the number 10, a GMC Sierra. He has that. And you said you have a Dodge what?
But it's a Journey, so that's not
Dodge
on there.
Journey's not on there. No. You're just not going to be able to be cool like the rest of us.
Well, I bought mine a while ago, so maybe that's it.
You know what tomorrow is, don't you, sir?
Valentine's
It's
Day.
the day you got to tell your wife you love her whether you like it or not. That's what you got to do.
Only day of the year you have to.
You have to tell your wife you love
obligated.
her. Well, happy Galentine's Day tomorrow also because like Valentine's Day, it's just for gal pals.
Ooh.
That's right. A poll for it looked at how many good female friends the average woman has. 26% said 3.
Yeah.
44% said 4 to 5. And 26% said 6 or more.
Well, that's too
So if you have 6 or more, you have 3.
That's
Either
too
way,
many
you're 26%.
You can't have like 9 friends. That's crazy.
Now, I want to find out what you think, Jason.
You can like 9 people.
I have 5 amazing top qualities women look for in those girlfriends.
And the other girls?
The gal pals. What do you think the number one thing girls look for in their friend or friends of the friend group? What do you think?
Uglier than them.
Nope, not on the list at all.
I find that hard to believe.
Do you have any other ones?
Those people were lying.
Do you have any other ideas? Any other possible shots in the dark?
Like-minded. I don't know how they would word it.
Okay. Well, number 1 is common interest.
There you go.
So like-minded could fall into that category.
Right? I'm into that. You're
60% said it's the most important thing. Okay, Jim? 60% said it's the most important thing.
Hang out with someone I have nothing in common with.
A similar sense of humor came in at 28%. 28% said that.
You always got it.
A fun-loving attitude.
Well, okay.
A fun-loving attitude, 4%.
That could
only
be
4%.
Annoying.
Only 4% cared about a fun-loving attitude in any of their friend group. Okay.
Like, all right, we get it, Trudy. Calm down.
This is the one that kills me. I guess being dumb isn't a deal breaker because it's intellect at 2%. So if you're a female, and you're looking for a girlfriend to hang out with, common interest obviously is important.
All right,
but if she's dumber than a box of rocks, you are totally fine. 98% of you are completely cool with the friend being dumber than a box of rocks as long as she likes the same supernatural episodes that I do.
Susie's dumb as crap, but she's that loyal.
And
she's my
do
buddy.
you want to know what number 5 is, sir?
Yes.
Also at 2%, religious beliefs.
Yeah, some people are nuts about that.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Now, I told you I grew up in a family that was heavily religious, hence my name, my brother's name, and all that. But I wouldn't say that I was typically influenced by a ton of individuals around my life that were religious, forced on me in some portion. Now, outside of my mom or dad,
in that respect.
Outside of my mom or dad telling me I needed to go to church,
but it wasn't
with them
like forced,
right? But there were friends of mine that I was around, and they were very Jesus loving. Like they were,
my parents were never
Jesus,
like that.
They were the Jesus freaks, as we like to call them.
Yeah,
and
never crazy.
They were, but those families are always odd There's always
right.
something odd about the way that they travel together.
Like you see dad and you see mom, and you're like, there's no way the two of you made these kids.
There was a deal that I made for myself. Now, having a minivan is one thing, okay?
Yeah. They're fine.
If you are a family that travels around in one of those longer style white vans with the panel
passenger vans
with the panel windows, and
like a church,
your mom and your dad sitting in the front seat, and then there's like 5 of you, and you guys are paddling into the back of that.
Your dad has a white short sleeve dress shirt on. It's always pissed.
I'm sorry, but ladies and gentlemen, you can't trust those people. I'm sorry, you can't trust that person. You can't trust that woman. She's not sexually active with that dude. They got 5 kids. No.
No way.
They got 5 kids, but three or four of them were by force. I'm telling you right now. 3 or 4 were by force. There's no way.
Because it's Thursday.
Listen,
that's how they had that kid.
There is no way that you pull down cut off George Styles jeans to have sex with a woman while you're wearing your high top socks.
I almost guarantee
then you drive a white panel van and you're a passenger van, and you're sitting there trying to tell me that I'm gonna find that sexually attractive as a woman? No way.
He told her it's procreation day. It's Thursday. The first 20th of the 20th of every month. Not the first.
Jason,
20th,
that is
moron.
out of control. That just doesn't make any sense to me.
Hey, whatever.
But you can't trust those.
You know what?
Listen,
think about it. You could have grew up like that.
You can't trust those people. Those people are weird.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The carpenter that's always drunk. Don't trust the carpenter that's always drunk. He's not going to pay attention to everything. He's going to slump off on a couple of things. Just don't trust it. Well, you just talked about 12% of Donald Trump's base. And it's like, I don't care. Stop being drunks.
He's the guy that you paid to work for you, and then he gets aggressive when you ask him about stuff.
Did you guys get any background checks on those people in there? No, we didn't.
No, we don't, right?
We don't do that.
Heck yeah, they would. But when they do it, it's just bizarre, man. That's what cults do.
All right,
political leaders.
I'm going to ask you a question, Jason.
Yes. Do it.
If every job paid the same salary,
okay, I would do the
what job
easiest.
would you be doing right now and why? If everything paid the same.
Observer of life.
An observer of life.
What could be the job? What could be a job where you just...
What's a job that you would be willing to do if every job paid the same salary right now? I would be a broadcaster because I like this job. This is what I would do.
There you go. There you go. I would do the show you're talking about.
The show I'm talking about?
I would do the 3-hour call-in, sit down, play some sweet tunes, talk to people about their stupid problems.
That would be the show.
Idiotic advice.
That would be what you want to do. Now, that makes sense because you're already a radio broadcaster.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So it's something that's within the vein of something that you already do. Or if you said, I would go teach, but I would go teach this specific subject because this is what I like to talk about.
I would love to teach a subject.
Sports science.
Teach like sports history or just a class on the 60s alone.
Sports history.
That would be sweet.
That would be an interesting class.
Yeah.
That would be a fun
just watch
one.
Hoosiers and stuff.
Well, no, it's just the idea that you could go back to old situations and argue about them.
You can show old videos.
Think about just
see it.
Just the week that you bring up the tuck rule game, like that's going to be just
well, if
out
you're
of
taught
control.
on the West Coast, boy, they'd be like,
all right, Jason.
Yes.
That halftime show at the Super Bowl, did you like it? Did you not like it?
You know, I'm not familiar with Kendrick Lamar other than a couple of tracks, so I didn't really know him. But I thought it was interesting, and the more I was told what was supposed to be represented there, I thought it was he got in on the sly.
Right.
He kind of stuck it in their eye, and they didn't even know it.
And that's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I wasn't a huge fan. I give it a 7 out of 10. It wasn't like...
Yeah, no, it was...
I am a huge Kendrick Lamar fan, and I love his stuff. But as far as
but his stuff doesn't...
presentation... Some of those songs I didn't really care about, and other ones were great, but there's like 3 or 4 other songs I would have rather heard also instead because I know he's got them.
And his stuff doesn't lean to that Super Bowl explosions and fireworks and, you know, the lights and stuff. He's more laid back. You know, he's not an upbeat rapper.
Right.
So he's more someone maybe you bring in who rapped on someone who is the person.
All right, last question.
All right.
If death sits next to you in a bar,
oh boy,
Jason.
Jeez.
If death sits next to you in a bar, Okay?
Yes.
And it says,
Ignore him.
finish up. It's time to go.
Ooh, ouch.
What will your response be, sir?
Oh, I would be like, all right, whatever. Fine.
That's it?
Just eat it slowly. All right?
Well, ladies and
I'd
gentlemen,
take my knife and stab him.
I want to thank you all for joining us here on the Q Now. My name has been Mark Bland. That over there is Jason Call. Thank you, Jason Call, for joining us. And, hey, listen, you can check us out at theqnow.com. Old episodes and new episodes, everything in between. We appreciate it every single Thursday night right here from the Gateway Fiber studios of KYRO. Check us out at newsradiokyro.com. That's going to do it for us. So we'll see you guys next time on this show that we like to call The QJ.
Wow.